Okay, so I did my project on deafness in Africa because I've always just had an interest in the deaf community. So the most common causes of deafness in Africa are meningitis, which makes up about 25 to 31% of the cases in Africa, chronic suppurative otitis media, or COSM, measles, and different febrile illnesses like bacterial infections, which measles and the bacterial infections and other illnesses make up about 20% total, 10% each. Yeah. And before I went to the geographical aspects, I wanted to talk about this guy named Andrew Foster. He was born in Birmingham, Alabama. He was in 1925 and he died in 1987. He became deaf at the age of 11 due to spinal meningitis, which is also prevalent here in America, as well as Africa. He got a degree in education from Gallaudet University, which is the only deaf university in America. He is known as the father of deaf education in Africa, as well as Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet of Africa. So he brought deaf education into Africa. His first school he founded was in Accra, Ghana, and overall he founded 32 schools. He started an organization called Christian Mission for the Deaf, or CMD, that helps bring education, language, and God to to deaf families and deaf people in Africa. And that mission, Christian Mission for the Deaf, is still around today. So here are some maps. Over here on the left is one I found online of where CMD conducts its activities as of 2006. Over here on this side is a map that I've made from a list of countries I was able to find of where he established schools. So all of the schools that he founded are over here in green, and the ones that he in blue are training programs that he implemented. Then I want to go over here to locations of the disease outbreaks of measles, which is over here, meningitis belt, kind of in the middle, and then COSM, which is right there as well. So I wanted to compare all of these with the map of Andrew Foster of where he established all of his schools to see why he established them in those locations. So the meningitis belt is like right over here in the middle, which is a lot of where he established schools. And then measles, which is up here in like Nigeria, down here in Democratic Republic of Congo. COSM is all over in these areas. So these are very common places for deafness to be a factor because that is where the most outbreaks of meningitis, measles, COSM, like where they came out. And since those are most common forms of causes of deafness, that's where he did these, since that's where most people are. So then the question came up, why these areas in Africa? So if you notice here, like right along here is right where the equator is. So it's very warm, very tropical climate, a lot of mosquitoes. All of these countries are on the poorest countries in Africa list, except the Ivory Coast. That is the only one that is not on that list. So they have not clean water, they have dirty water, dirty syringes that they have to use. They're very, because they don't have enough money to get new supplies. So it's just very easy for disease to spread in these areas. So treatments for this can include vaccinations, but those can be kind of expensive as well. And then hearing aids, but are very expensive, and most people can't afford those at all. But yeah, and then my sources. So that's deafness in Africa. Thank you.